Well, this is an old, looks like about 1900 to 1920 Bradford lathe. Right there. 18-inch swing, 6-foot bed. 16 to 18 inch, there's a gearing for that. For the cross feed and the taper. It used to have a 3-pulley, but somebody converted it to a transmission at one time. It came from Jeffrey Foundry's mining equipment up in Columbus, northern part of Columbus, Ohio. But I picked it up from an old guy that passed away, so I'm kind of saving history here. Needs a paint job and a little bit more cleaned up, but that'll be when a little bit down the road. But as what I'm doing is I'm truing up a shaft here so I can make a drag link assembly for a truck in Alaska for a guy I met. Needs this done. This is 1.25 inch thickness on the shaft. I need to bore a 7/8 hole in the center here on each end and put a 7/8 18 thread tap right hand and left on it. And then that's the old Cincinnati #2 milling machine I picked up as well at the same location as this lathe. And I got a bunch of tooling and stuff with it. I had to get that bin of tooling from a junkyard that he was just scrapping it, but I got that toolbox full of tooling, some basket full of tooling, a bucket full of tooling, and got some more gears and change out gears and stuff like that. But I mean, for as slow as this thing does, oh my goodness, it is slow, but it doesn't have to go very fast. So let's see what she does. I gotta tighten up my bit here and see how centered. It's off a little bit on the center there, as you can see, but looks pretty good though. Looks pretty close. Kind of happy about that actually. Just by seeing it, it looks like it's right on. So let me get my wrench here, see if this wrench here will work. And it won't. Ah, man. Well, let me see what we got here. Got a bunch of wrenches and stuff around here somewhere. I probably set it in the other bin, so I'll probably have to use this one, I think. Yeah, this won't work for a moment. But I'm surprised. I mean, the tolerance, the tightness of this thing is so tight. I mean, it's got the old taper attachment there. I mean, this guy, he had it set up before he passed away. It's a shame that I never got to meet the guy, but it's one of them things. But as you can see, I got a South Bend lathe too. I gotta take some videos of that too, but gonna be building a little machine shop in my garage here. It's gonna be a little shop since I've got just pretty much about everything here. I still need to get a vertical mill, and that's gonna be the next project I get probably in the next few months once I get some funding set up. But let's see how I should probably have a centering on it, but we'll see what she does. I just need to face this. This is all I need to do, is just face it. So anything major, I'm not. Now, that's a stainless steel rod here. It only cost me $1.80 a pound out where my scrapyard is. Of course, since it's octagonal and it's not round, it doesn't feed all the way down in through the center of this thing, so it's kind of tight. So I might have to take a grinder or a file to it just to take a little bit of the edge off so I can feed it down the center so it gets a better feed. But I mean, all in all, I mean, it's doing good. I mean, it's right on center. It's just slow because it is slow turning. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, it's slow. But the guy I got off, I thought he was going to scrap it, because he wouldn't sell it to me otherwise. No, I'm not going to scrap. I wouldn't scrap this old piece of equipment. I mean, why would somebody scrap this? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. That had an engine on it. It didn't have an electric motor. It had an engine. But the guy was driving an engine with it. I rebuilt the engine down the basement, but in the other shop. But I mean, this thing's perfect. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. The tolerances are tight. It did have a little bit of pitting right there on this bedway here, right there, and you can see it in the light. But that's only for the steady rest and the tailstock. But the tailstock you're always going to have out in there. You're not really going to be down in here. So I was worried about this one, this bedway here, and then that bedway there, because that's what the carriage runs on. That would have been really bad. But you know, it's, like I said, it's slowly munching away. So yeah, I've got a 16-inch swing south bend lathe that I picked up off eBay. I saved it from the scrapyard. I seem to save these things from the scrapyard all the time. I don't know why. I don't know what the big deal is and why people scrap these things. I mean, yeah, they're big and bulky, but, well, I know the other reason too. Everybody's going to CNC and going into foreign countries to have stuff manufactured, so this stuff's kind of dead. But like I said, I don't mind picking something up. I only paid, well, with the tooling I had to get back in that bucket, I think it might have been that crate, I'm not sure. I had to get the 4-jaw chuck back. That was a 4-jaw I got from the South Bend. I got a small faceplate and a large faceplate right there. I mean, they're 18-inch. I mean, they're huge. But I had to buy, there was another bin here somewhere. Well, I think it consolidated, but I think it was in that crate there. That bucket. Oh, and there's another wooden crate that had all the cutters for that thing, all the cutting end mills for the milling machine. That's what it was. That's what I couldn't think about. But yeah, it's like I said, I just gotta face this one, this side, because the other side was machine phase. Because this thing was 34 inches long, and I had to make it down to 28. The guy specified to have it 27 3/4, but I figured I'd add another 1/4 inch. But he had plenty of swing, plenty of room on the steering for the truck, so it ain't gonna bother too much. But yeah, I mean, this thing hasn't been in operation for probably 10 years, and there's nothing wrong with this thing. It's beautiful for as old as it is. But I can't believe, I mean, all this tooling down here came from an Italian doctor, supposedly what the guy at the scrapyard was telling me that I bought it from. But I got this from Stargate Metals over on Grandview Avenue in Columbus, Ohio. They do pretty good, $1.80 a pound out, so it does really good on me. I always go there when I need special metals and stuff. But yeah, it's just doing pretty good. I need to get a holder for my phone, or get a better camera. But it's slow. It is slow. And I think it's jumping a little bit, but the up and down I'm not really worried about, because like I said, I just need to get it phased so I can punch a 3/4 inch hole and then bore it to a little under 7/8, and then I got my uncle's going to Japan next week, beginning of this week, so by the end of the week he's supposed to pick me up a couple pieces of tooling that's out there from a guy. It does really good. I'm trying to see if it'll focus in. There we go. That's much better. really good. Look at that. Yeah, it's jumping a little bit. Just a little bit. If I was doing a horizontal cut, it wouldn't be too bad, but I'm doing a longitude cut. I'm sorry, not a latitude. Longitude cut, I'd put it in a steady rest, but for this little operation, slow and steady, not rushing the bit. But this stainless turns smooth. I'm impressed. It's some nice material to work with. Real fine material. But let that keep turning. But so what I'm gonna do is I can get a hold of a bunch of pallets, and I'm gonna do some furring strips off the block, about 3/4 inch, and then run insulation, and then run my chunks of pallet, probably longitude, to the wall to where it builds a nice little decor for the kind of an old style machine shop look. Just a little hobby of mine I like to do. I work on bulldozers and heavy equipment and some big trucks, but just doing a little bit of machining here and there. It takes the time off. It's fun to build stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm almost done right now for as slow as this thing's turning. Now, of course, I can back that off. And then that's third gear. I mean, it's a 4-speed transmission. You got fourth there, third, and then when I gotta jump up and drop it, turn the power off and then engage it slowly. But I mean, when I turn the bull gear in, I mean, it is slow. I mean, it's bull gear. I mean, this bull gear is slow. I mean, it's funny because where's it at? Let's see, my wrench should be right here. That's the old style way of unlocking a bull gear. Kind of hard to do this. Don't ever set that there. Don't ever set those wrenches on them. There we go. Now the bull gear's out. I'll lock it in real quick. Now, for as old as this thing, I've never seen it, but there is 2 gears on the bull gear. Isn't that neat? I mean, you got one run there, and you got one run here. Of course, over the years, somebody's gotten something engaged in this thing and tore a couple teeth off right there. But I saw how the guy fixed it. I mean, he took a bolt, drilled the hole, and then he screwed it in, and then he cut it off, and then ground it to match the pitch of the tooth. I mean, this guy was brilliant on what he was doing. But all right, so now the bull gear's in. Now, just to show you how slow this is, gotta kick it off for a second. I kind of missed the RPM. Okay, that's gonna be. Okay, so just make sure that that's not gonna engage there. But that's his 4th gear in the transmission with the bull gear. It is slow. I mean, look at that. That is just slow turning on that. Like, that is ridiculously slow. And you could probably count the RPMs just looking at the free jaw chuck. Now, that's the low gear engaged. Now let's spin this guy over so we can get into the end of the Allen head cap. There we go. There's the set screw. Now it slides over and hits that hole there. I wonder why that Allen head was there. Hopefully it'll do it without tapping too much on it. We'll see. Probably the paint messed with it. Torch this out. It did. Alright, get my rubber mallet. Never use anything harder than a rubber mallet. Come on, you. Yeah, the paint took the tolerances off, man. I'll have to play with that, but let's just say I think it goes to like, I'm not sure, probably 80 revolutions a minute with that lower bull gear in. Man, when I kick that big bull gear in, oh man, I think this thing only does like 20 revolutions a minute. It's ridiculously slow. But it's kind of cool, because like I said, I've never seen a bull gear with a double gear. And all them change gears there, but... oh man, gotta do that. Now we gotta meet this guy back over here on this. I mean, it is smooth. Really smooth. I'm impressed. As old as this thing is, it is smooth. Did I catch it? No. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do this with two hands. There we are. Look at that. It didn't take long to catch that one. Sometimes they're a pain to catch it. But tighten that up. Need to get a different wrench on that one. Need to get a 4-star instead of a 2. Maybe I got one down here somewhere. I might have it. Cops are at it again tonight. Goodness. Keep forgetting the transmission. See, now with the old one, with the South Bend, I mean, it's got a 3-drum clutch, so... of course, it always does that with the lighting due to the fact that it's... pulls it down a little bit. But, well, like I said, I'm going to turn the camera off right now so I can finish this for the night. And tomorrow I got a little bit of projects to do with a couple of pieces of equipment. But, I mean, it's a little low on the tolerance. I have to shim that up just a little bit. That's alright. It'll get me where I need to be tonight anyways. He's been kind of waiting for this little project for a minute, but I have to only do what I can. But supposedly, for what I'm going to be doing with this, they wanted almost $200 for this part. Out of just tube steel and DOM steel, and then with 7/8 threads bored into it. And I'm going to give them something a little bit ruggeder for the Alaskan wilderness, because he takes his truck off-roading. But when he bought it, somebody kludged the steering system together, so that's why I'm doing this for him. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's doing good. I'm really impressed. Really impressed. That's a little better on the camera with. There we go. Getting a little closer. But I've been playing with lathes for about 3 years now. Well, actually about 6 years now. I bought one when I was in the military. When I was away and had it shipped in, man, my brother and dad were mad, but tried to get home before it showed up, but that just wasn't happening fast enough. So I had to deal with it. See, the tightness is off, so I'm gonna have to shim it just a little bit, as you can see there. But it'll get me close for the night. Anyways. Starting to jump up a little bit more, so I'll have to probably spin it up and screw it on the center there. That's alright. Well, let's see what it did for just a trial run here. Like I said, I mean, this thing is so tight on tolerances. It is, like I said, for as old as it is, I mean, that's how much slack there is. I'd say, you have to clean the dial up, it looks like, but I'd say 15,000, probably 20,000 off. That's not too bad on the cut and reuse. Them things are sloppy. I know my south end, it's sloppy. It just slowly rolls to a stop. And I'm not, a lot of people would be worrying about me running oil, but I've dumped a lot of oil in these things last couple days, so it's fine. Just for what I was doing, just to see how it was cutting. But let me take this guy off and I'll show you on the lighting on how well it does for as old as this thing is. And this weighs about 14 pounds. See, look at the spiral of that thing. Look at that. For as slow as it was turning, look at that. That is beautiful. It's a little rough at the moment, but tell you what, for as old as that is, that's a good shimmer on that. That's nice. And look at that. Wow. It's a nice piece of turning right there. But like I said, that alloy, that stainless, it's really nice too. I'm really impressed by that. I think I need to go get some more of that for some more projects. It's kind of weary of it, but no, I just need to build a tool holder off here. But I'm also building with this little transmission here. I'm going to mount that thing right here with a couple clamps. I'm not going to touch the bedway, it's just going to clamp on. And I've got, I don't know where that shaft got off. There's a big shaft that, it's buried. There's a shaft that has a same cut as these gears here, and it's going to come across. I'm going to build a bearing assembly off these two bolts here. Runs down and hold it. And the chain drive is going to run down the transmission. And then the shaft on this output, see there's the chain drive. On the output of this, it's going to come across here with a small universal shaft. It's going to mount right here on the bedway. And I'm going to be able to machine a bit while I'm able to turn, so I can pop in the bull gear and do some spiral work and stuff. I think it'll work out pretty well. I just got to get some key stock with a slip joint like this so I can operate in and out of it. But I think those are some, that might be should be a stop for something, I think, back down in here, I think. I'm not quite sure. I need to, like I said, and it's got a 3-speed transmission here for this shaft here, which I've never seen before. I mean, this is a shifting mechanism here. It just slides back and forth and grabs each gear on which one you want. But this is the lead screw here, gearing, with this gear here, and then it drops down and then runs those 3 gears. And then these 3 gears get operated, but then you change the transmission for each drive you want, because they're not engaged. So with this thing, you can operate the lead screw, which will take the carriage back and forth. And then you can operate this as well, which carries the cross slide back and forth, so you can make a manual taper without using that taper attachment, which I've never seen a lathe yet with this operation. I've seen one or two. LeBlanc, I think, had one of the older LeBlancs has it, and there's another. A lot of the really, really old units have this because they knew what they were doing with them. Today, I don't. All the gearbox and stuff, man, it's just too complicated sometimes. But yeah, and then somebody must have broke the this at one time because they welded it up with stainless steel welding and tried to clean up the flute. I don't know if I can save that or not. I should be able to, because this is just a flat groove here, which I can put that back in there and then put a mill in there and clamp it up in that milling machine and mill it up. And then it just has 2 small bolts, Allen caps right there to hold the jaw in. So it's supposed to have 2. I don't see why it only has 1. That makes no sense. Well, I guess you can adjust it for different sides. And then I got to get I've got one of these bolts here with the thread for that, and the other shop sitting on the shelf for it. So, like I said, it turned good. I just need to clean up the edges here, flute it just a little bit so I can get it down in there a little bit more so I can chuck it up a little better. But yeah, like I said, it's come along pretty good. But yeah, I'd say this thing was built probably between 1890 and about 1910. So in that era, about 20, 30 year difference. Just for as old as it is. And of course, the milling machine got a little damage on transport, but that, first time moving something, it was a little heavy, and I didn't have the Bobcat operating at the time, so it kind of, or it would have assisted me a lot more, because I would have grabbed that big shaft right there and on the backside and lifted the whole center, but it kind of fell over this way on this side here, and I don't know if it did any damage to the gearbox or not, but it seemed to have popped it loose, I think. But I don't know, I'll have to take that apart and see. Everything seems alright, I just don't know until it operates. But the bed got a little dinged right down here, which didn't really hurt it too much, but the tensioner roller right there that sits right there where that ear is broke off, and then the handle to shift it from neutral to operation got bent and broke. So I gotta take a torch and warm all that up and remake a new handle for that. But yeah, with this milling machine here, I'd say it's probably about 1900 to 1930s, 1940s-ish. I mean, I found one of these on the internet, but I haven't been able to find one close to it yet. And then I got the bench grinder with a lot of tooling and the two pieces of equipment, the drill press. Got another small bench vise, and I mean, I cleaned the guy's garage out for not very much money, but it was alright. Like I said, he allowed me to do that because I wasn't scrapping this stuff, which I told him when I showed up, why would I do that? But well, I'm going to go in the shop and get cleaned up and call it a night. So.